This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 666 for July 27th, 2020, The Coward's Path.
Saves come for life.
Backstabbing is now included.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. You get cool, exclusive, uncensored episodes. We had a hot banger this week. If you want to you want to hear Moon yell at me for a while, listen to this one. This outcast is really good. And we have a little bit of like...
That's literally the best example of glass houses throwing stones as well.
That's right. We did actually had some scheduling stuff happen this week, which happens every once in a while. Like, we can't always be on time every week. There's plenty of... I was like on death's door the other week, and I was like, hey, it's a 20-minute episode, whatever, see you. So we had our usual like business meeting on the Outcast. So if you want to hear some of our sort of scheduling and content discussions, listen to the Outcast. It's really good. Also, early access, the season 1 of Critical Misses, the Fast Saga. You get 2-month early access to that. That series, we're into season 2 now, which is unannounced. You gotta wait. And season 1 was a lot of fun, and I think we picked the perfect movie series to start off with, because I think that was sort of like, yeah, this series will work out. Even if no one's going to listen to it, we're at least having a good time with it.
Yep. And
you can help me pay for these shows, and if we hit the $250 a month tier, you don't have to pay. If someone wants to give us $250 a month, that would be great. But sort of collective, total $250 a month, I will play a scary game on stream. And it will probably turn out to be a series. So the first one up is Resident Evil 7, Boston's Cryathon, episode 1.
Putting you on the spot, because I didn't ask you before. Do you happen to know how far off you are from that right now?
It's about 90% of the way. Okay. Not 90, about 45% of the way there.
Yeah, we had some new patrons this week. Welcome, new patrons. Remember, new patrons, I send you a personalized message. So straight from my keys on my keyboard to you. I think we're about halfway. One thing I like about Patreon is I am able to be transparent about the monthly costs for this show and how close we are to a goal. So if anyone wants to see how close we are, you can go to patreon.com/E1M1 and go check it out. All of that fun stuff out of the way. Moon, what have you been playing this past week in hell year 2020?
Oh, boy. Well, yeah. Where do we go from there? Okay. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room, of course, being Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. I was just thinking, like, is it going to be Apex? Is it Elite Dangerous? Are you still into Warframe?
I'm always into Warframe. Come on.
Okay.
One does not simply Warframe into Warframe. So, yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. I just don't. And now I have a whole bunch of people like talking to me about 12 Hearts and Organization 13's back, and it's been so long since I watched that recap video that I don't know what the
princess is. And it's like, who?
Yeah. So I'm just going around smashing stuff right now, hitting them with my Keyblade thing. Things go pop, things go bang, lights and pretty colors, that kind of stuff happens.
Yep.
And then things happen around it.
Like the power of friendship.
Yep.
The
and Woody from Toy Story.
Basically, it's Yeah, Woody from Toy Story and Mike Wakanowski, or whatever his name is, from Monsters Inc., which is the
Yep.
planet I just hit. I hit the second star sector, so now I very clearly have Monsters Inc., 2 planets I can't see yet, and oh, what's that all the way over there on the other side of the map? Of course it's frozen. Why wouldn't it be frozen?
I have one big complaint to leverage. I like Frozen as a movie. I have a 3-year-old, so I've seen it a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem, and get ready for this in the Frozen world, is they just play Let It Go, just the whole song, just from front to back. It's like, literally everyone on planet Earth knows this song, is at least heard it once. You don't need to. It's one of the most famous Disney songs of all time. You don't have to play the whole thing. We get it.
However,
Yes.
you don't have to play the whole thing. It's worth mentioning, though, that it's a banger of a song.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic song.
I go listen to ODNF, the episode. I'm not even going to count. Some number to get to Frozen, and hear my thoughts on Let It Go as a piece of music. That's a great song, man. And if you get the chance, you put it in the game and you play it all the way through.
If you're a kid playing Kingdom Hearts, it's what you're there for. I mean, it's,
100%. Even though these games are aimed at kids, but let's face it, kids aren't playing them. It's all us idiots who are playing it. So,
like, I can't even keep Organization 13 and their black box in order. Like, I can't imagine a kid being like, yeah, I don't care about any of these people with weird names and crazy hair. Whatever.
Dude, you know that there's some 9-year-old out there that could list off all 13 names of Organization 13.
100%.
And
100%.
My favorite is Zigbar.
And 3 of us would sit here and go, no, what?
Right.
There's Zaxxas and Roxas and Blastas and Blastoise and Charmander
and Lucerne. No, wait, that's a cheese.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
They got me with Final Fantasy mixed with Disney. They got me with that.
They pulled you in.
They kept me with Tron.
Yep. And then, they dumped all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they got me again with being like, oh, it's only been in development for 42 years. You might as well just see what it's like.
You've come so far now. You've already played the first 13 games. Why not play Kingdom Hearts 3?
Exactly. And I love some of the mobile games. Some of the mobile games and some of the DS games were genuinely fantastic
really good
games.
A lot of them in that franchise are really good.
They're just insane.
From top to bottom, it's nuts.
Like, you said the power of friendship, and the thing that makes me laugh about that is they hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, Sora and Goofy are bullying Donald all the time.
I know, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's so good.
And Donald is just sitting there with these personal jabs that only if you really know somebody are you good enough to hit them at their core.
Like, they cut deep, and it's like,
stick
Donald.
a jab in, and it's like, dude.
Donald, we're having fun here, man.
It's uncalled for. Like, you know you're going to get that reaction.
Yeah.
Don't do it. That's a poison blade to the heart of your quote-unquote friend.
I don't know,
Donald's
man.
an assassin, man.
Yeah. One day you're going to be fighting something and a meteor is going to come out of nowhere and Donald's just going to be laughing his butt in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no, I hit Sora. Oh, weird.
Yeah. Funniest home videos if everybody died at the end. Like, that's
right.
this trio of friendships. It's just terrible. And then they go to a new world, and Monsters Inc., by the way, Sora is a fairy. Didn't know that. Didn't see that coming when they arrive on Monsters Inc.
I like those designs for the 3 main characters.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
It does make me laugh, though, because the Monsters Inc. characters look better than the Monsters Inc. characters in the first movie. Because technology has come a long way.
Yep.
However, when I was on Tangled Planet, or whatever it's called, my wife said to me, why are you watching a crappy version of Tangled?
Oh, don't worry. It's just Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was before Sora showed up, and she was like, oh, no, you're playing Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore with this game. I just want to beat it, be done with it, and then just uninstall it at this point. It's just like, I've got to see it through to the end. I waited 70,000 years for this game.
Yeah.
I have to see it to the end.
I cannot wait until you get to the point where it completely gets rid of Disney from this game and just goes way off the rails.
And that's like, actually when it starts to get harder too, depending on what difficulty you're on.
Yeah, there's some parts in the ending where it's just like, what? I'm playing on normal? What are you doing to me here?
That doesn't surprise me at all. I'm the idiot who, on brave mode, fought Sephiroth in the first game.
I did too.
Because I'm that kind of idiot.
But that was a fun fight,
Yeah. Also, best piece of music in video game history. If you haven't inserted it before, Boston.
That was why I kept playing it, because you get One Winged Angel the entire time while you're getting your butt handed to you.
The orchestral
version too. Yeah. It's so good.
You guys should
do great music.
You guys should hear some of the more recent One Winged Angel versions. They are very good. There's one that just came out last month that is very good.
Is that part of the Final Fantasy VII remake by any chance?
No, it's another live one. Like, they have an orchestra basically touring around like 3 countries at once, and like every couple of months it's just like, here's like another 3-disc soundtrack of live performance, go nuts. And it's just some kind of rare stuff, and then they play the high points, and One Winged Angel's kind of always in there, and it is
stream like everything from the original 7 soundtrack to like the Boston Symphony to the London Symphony to the heavy metal Black Mages version, which I still really love. It's God,
very good. Black Mages are very good. It's on Spotify. It's whatever Square Enix's most recent soundtrack is. It's like the Friends of Final Fantasy Live or something like that. It's always a name like that. Anywho,
I always love it when a game soundtrack out of context is so much better. That's a good example. Is the One Winged Angel completely apart from Final Fantasy VII in Kingdom Hearts makes it amazing, and then other people make it even more amazing, and so on and so forth. My favorite one of that is the Ocarina of Time medley from Smash Brothers.
That's a really good track.
One of the best soundtracks of all time, because it's just everybody's musical shrunk down from an entire game to like a 5-minute track for every single game.
You should, as a fellow Final Fantasy VIII fan, you should listen to the orchestral version of Man with a Machine Gun. One of the best Final Fantasy pieces of music in history. It's really great.
Dude, I still really love the intro music for 8.
That's fantastic, Intro and outro music, both of those are outstanding.
That intro sequence for 8, that FMV is like, this is what games look like now?
Right. Like, and then you play it and you're like, oh, they spoiled a lot of this game. Yeah.
But also, it's funny, when I was a kid, I immediately loved Final Fantasy VIII more than 7 because they didn't have the Lego hands. I was like, this is how people should look.
Real people! Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, moving on.
Anyway, Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is crazy. That's how crazy it is. It takes us to all of these different places.
Yeah.
I played a smoochy of Nier Automata. We were talking about Viewer's Universe. The phrasing is in my head now. I can't get rid of it.
Just continuing on the crazy train.
Yes. So I think I'm almost done with playthrough B.
Okay.
Of Nier Automata.
You're still playing as 2B? Sorry, 9S?
Yes. The boy version of the android.
9s.
Whatever.
Yep. The
one without the pants. Yes.
Right. Well, to be fair, that's both of them.
I had.
That's all of them. Yeah.
Right, that's everyone.
Okay. Yeah. The one wearing the booty shorts, because I have achievements to get.
Yep.
And I will have them all. I'm sorry, but running around in booty shorts is...
That's right.
9S 2B is one of those achievements. So I got it.
Yep.
I still didn't get the one for 9S, which makes me laugh. At no point did I get that achievement. I got the one for the boy first.
Boy.
Phrasing?
Good times.
Yes. I'm up to the missile defense again. So...
Okay.
Right at that point where you do that mission and then it's just go. You've got
stuff is going to happen.
Finish the game kind of thing. I found out about the Forest King, which is horrifically sad and depressing.
Yep.
I found out about the Forest King's baby, which is horrifically sad and depressing.
Oh, yeah.
Now with added context.
I just
seems to be like that's the specialty of this second playthrough. It's like literally playthrough 1, but now with added context.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you fought that crazy robot lady in the theme park. That was weird, huh? And at playthrough B, you're like, oh God. Oh God!
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
now she's trying to get more pretty.
Right, and it's just like, oh God!
Here is a robot baby that doesn't grow. Spoiler alert! It's because it's a robot,
Right.
and it got stabbed, and you don't care. And now, oh, okay, I know the context behind that baby now, and that is horrific.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for destroying
this
my
game.
soul. So yeah, I literally last night I was playing it and I was just wrapping up the side quests. That's what I was doing. I was trying to get as many side quests done as I can because, spoiler alert, 80% of the side quests for an achievement. So I'm going through trying to do them all as I can.
When you're like trying to get to the point of no return without crossing over it, where it's like you got to find the time to get through all that stuff in one sitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm literally rubbing my face up against that point of no return because I went to the area where you kill those monsters to do the cutscene to get the air units to then go and do the mission.
Right.
I killed half of those monsters, then got the white lily that was in the area, and then left the area without killing the rest of the monsters because I didn't want to hit the point of no return.
Right.
So literally rubbing my face up against it. It's just like, come on, hit me in the face, please, while I'm trying to do this flower thing.
Right.
Which, and now I also have context for the weird white face guy, which I didn't realize it was the same thing from earlier. I didn't know the guy driving the car was the same white face that ran away from me in the forest. I never put that together.
It's all coming together. Depressingly. Every time it starts coming together, you're like, oh yeah, that's that thing. Oh no, my emotions.
Mm-hmm. Oh. I already know there's something going on with Command. I think I might have mentioned it when I was originally playing it. It's clearly this is the baddies.
They couldn't be more fishy. Where it's like, hey, I have some questions about mid-mission. And they're like, hey, how about you shut up? And it's like, oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it's the classic hashtag you are the villain kind of things. Where it's just like,
are we the baddies?
It's the I hate to say this. It's the JRPG thing.
Right.
Of gee, I wonder if the villain is the guy sitting in the background going, yeah.
Right, he has an evil voice.
Hey, 9 times out of 10, that guy's just a red herring.
Yeah. Or it could be like Tales of the Abyss.
It's not that original. It's like 50% of the time he's a red herring. 50% of the time he's the bad guy.
Nimp, did you ever play Tales of the Abyss?
Yes.
Tales of the Abyss has one of the best character turns in the game where your main character is insufferable through probably the first like 20 hours or so, and then all of a sudden he destroys a town by accident and every living person in it, and it's just like, I'm a bad guy. And it's like, yes, Jesus Christ, yes, oh my God, you're the worst. And game becomes significantly better at that point, but it's one of the like great like whoops-a-daisy, I killed just thousands of people. Oh no,
it was one of those things where you are so annoyed by this character, by just some of the dumb stuff that he does, and then that happens, you're like, oh wow, I kind of like him now.
Yeah, wow, he's
in a weird twist of fate.
Yeah,
all it took was one town being raised, and all of a sudden, you're cool in my book.
Yeah, whoops.
I don't know if that says more about you than it does about him, to be completely honest.
The writing is really strong.
Yeah, I really like Disgaea, where you play as a demon lord. So
yep,
it's true. So do I.
It's true.
And I tend to play the evil path anytime I get that choice. So it doesn't have to say a lot about me. I know where my morality meter lies. Yeah.
Like they say in Destiny 2, let's be bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, please tell me they don't say that in Destiny 2.
The Drifter does, yes, for Gambit.
That's not the one played by the Ned icon guy, is it? Nathan, whatever his face is?
No, he got killed.
Okay. Because I aim to misbehave is a famous line from Firefly. And
there's like one
guys is also a line from Firefly.
There's like one Firefly reference in Destiny 2 that my brain has wiped because I hate it. I don't hate Firefly. I just hate people talking about it still. So I roll my eyes.
He looks over our critical misses list and what's on it.
Yeah, Firefly's on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Firefly's good. Anyway. I just want people to shut up. Just in general.
Just for the record, I'm totally adding Stargate into that now, by the way, and I'm including everything. So we're going to have like a year and a half worth of shows.
There we go.
Yeah,
anyway, our Stargate spin-off. Yep.
Yeah. It's like 14 seasons, dude.
Yeah, I'm halfway through it already.
I think this is the most tangential episode we have ever had. What is going on today?
It's 2020. We have to do what we can to fill up the space.
If this is your first episode, please go listen to the last one.
No, dude, this is fine. This is fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
Hashtag we're fine.
Everything's fine.
Sometimes rolling with it's just fun.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, Nier is fun. It's stupid. It's easy to play, and I also have a headphone and I'm listening to Dune while I play it. So
perfect. Yep.
It is a good game for that, especially considering I spent half my time running around trying to fast travel to the right place, fast travel to the wrong place, and then have to fast travel to a different place.
Every time.
Without fail.
Yep.
I did play a little bit of Apex, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because I want to talk about my final game this week, which is the game I think Boston may have played. He was certainly excited about it, but as ever in 2020, things happen, and sometimes you don't play the games you're excited about. I'm looking at you, 2 Point Hospital.
Yes.
So
assuming
my
this
final
is
game this week.
Carrion.
That it is.
So I haven't played Carrion because
Did you even install it yet?
I made the mistake. I haven't. No, I haven't. No, I installed it on my PC because I can just use Moonlight. I made the mistake of just checking out Return of the Obra Dinn the other day and thinking, I'll just go through the tutorial. For those of you who don't know,
the Return of the Obra Dinn is our game club game, which is why Boston won't be talking about it too much here.
I figured I'll just go through the tutorial. Whoops. Whoops-a-doodle.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a reason I haven't started that one yet, because it's like, I know the second I start it, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know where all of Boston's game time went this week, basically.
Quite a bit of it, yeah. I'm glad I'm playing it on the Switch, because I can just...
it's bedtime play.
Yeah, I can just not sleep and play it then. No big deal.
And you're worse than me complaining about not getting... You mentioned the S word, and now I'm about to yawn. You're worse than me complaining about that with a Switch in your face, playing Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a high contrast game. It couldn't be worse.
I go to bed at a reasonable time. It's just my kid does not wake up at a reasonable time.
I'm sure. Blame the child.
Hey,
I will. She can't defend herself.
I was going to say, I had to institute a rule in my house saying, I don't care if you're awake, you do not come downstairs until it's 8 a.m.
Right. I'll teach you how to read a clock.
Yes.
Here we go. Anyway.
Yes, I played Carrion, which is I think they refer to it as a reverse horror game.
Yep.
It's basically a Metroidvania.
Oh, no.
I love the fact that for those not watching the video, Boston actually paused in the middle of what he was doing to be like, wait, what? It's a Metroidvania? Yeah. It's a Metroidvania.
This is following on the heels of the Rogue Legacy developer saying, oh, just to remind everyone, Rogue Legacy 2 is a Metroidvania this time. And I'm like, oh, no.
So let's start with the... For those of you who don't know, Carrion, reverse horror game, is you are an interdimensional space being. You have to go numb on these people in this lab and figure out a way to escape, basically. Yep. It's the long and short of it. You have a biomass, which is your health meter. It's literally referred to as a biomass, which
That's
I love.
Great.
You basically turn into the bad guys from Dead Space, which is all meat, flesh, and sinew and bone.
Right.
Mixed with Cthulhu tentacles, except they're flesh tentacles, not regular tentacles.
Okay.
And you have like 5 mouths. And you grab humans, you bring them to you, and you nom 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 nom. You get your health back. And you also increase your biomass to a point.
Mm-hmm.
You travel through pipes, you rip grates off walls, you travel through ventilation systems, you eat people, you explore, you get new abilities, which allow you to open up areas that you previously were inaccessible to because you didn't have the abilities.
My weakness.
Mm-hmm. It's 100% a Metroidvania. It has secret areas where you can get abilities that you don't need at the same time. 2 problems with that. Number 1, there is no map, which is understandable. I don't know how the flesh monster could read a map.
That's fair. He doesn't have like an arm for a watch or anything.
Yeah, he could eat a map, but he couldn't read a map.
Sure.
So
that's true. Got a lot of mouths, no eyes. It's a problem.
I did get lost for like 20 minutes trying to figure out where I was going because I completely lost track of everything. This game moves
so quickly.
because normally in a Metroidvania you are running, jumping, platforming, wall jumping, whatever, as you get more skills. Your movement in this is literally you move the stick and the mass uses its tentacles to move wherever that is.
Oh, cool. So it like latches
you're-
onto something in that direction?
Yes, and it moves so quick because it's not hindered by needing to be on a platform. It will just go from like the top right to the bottom left of the room, just go
Oh,
over
cool.
to the bottom, over
That's
to the corner.
smart.
There is free range of movement. Like you can just go any direction you want. Like when people have guns and are shooting at you and taking your biomass away, health. You can like loop around them, go on under the platform they're on, so they're just shooting at the floor instead of at you. You can like shoot through vents and then go around the other side and grab them from above. Like, but the speed this thing moves is so impressive. Like, I'm not seeing any hitching, no slowdown, no issues, nothing like that. It's just like, you remember when you play Doom and you're just like, oh, okay, you run fast in this game. I think it works out like 40 kilometers an hour or something is what he's actually
And it's
doing.
like, I don't have to stop to do anything. I can just punch a dude's face off and keep moving through his like pink mist. Yeah.
That's this.
Awesome.
Like, you are just flying through these rooms. Like, at one point, I got annoyed because some dude killed me with an Uzi. And I went back to my last save point, which happens to be a biomass you embed into the wall. So it's like, it's just this crack in the wall. You insert yourself, expand, and then come back out again. And then that's a save point and also your last checkpoint.
That's cool.
And then literally I just shot through this level, just being like, grab, eat, grab, eat, grab, eat, grab, eat, grab, eat, through this vent, down that, through that tube, out this tube, through this water, nom, 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 nom. I made it back to him like so quickly.
I like that you're already doing like a speed run of this game.
Dude, you cannot not do a speed run because it's so quick. And like, the humans are good shots, so you do need to move pretty quickly to actually get around them. Like, there are also robots in the game which look just like humans, except you can't eat them and consume them to get biomass. So literally, you pick them up, it's just like crunch, 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 and then the
like
body
a tin
just gets
can
spit away. But the best thing is, like, the main thing is you move around, and your right stick is like a twin stick shooter control, and your right trigger is your tentacle grab. So you can literally just grab these people and smash them against the ceiling, and they're dead.
Great.
And then just eat what's left. And there's like robots you can grab hold of and smash them against stuff. When you tear a vent off a wall, you can just toss that at somebody and kill them with that instead.
Yeah.
It's so hectic. Like, it's so fast. It sounds gross, if I'm completely honest, because it's a lot of that slurping noises.
Sure. Right.
Like, both eating and moving produces the slurping noises. So it's just like,
I mean, biomass really does paint a certain sound picture.
Yeah. And it started to introduce puzzles now where when I'm in my second biomass form, which basically gives me twice as much health, I can now physically force myself through wooden planks, which is an ability that'll let you unlock new areas. Stop me if you see this before. However, there are puzzles where you need to hit switches through like walls that you can't break. The way you do that is you shoot a quote-unquote spider web at these switches. But it's just a big hunking mass of goo that you spit out.
Just a piece of meat.
And like, you just fire it through these gaps and it hits the switches and then it opens the way. So now they've got like little puddles that you can go and deposit your biomass in, do the puzzle, and then come back and then consume the cocoon of biomass.
Nip, if you're writing down deposit your biomass, I'm going to shoot you.
My fingers did start typing, but I already erased it.
All right, thank you.
I was debating on that one. But yeah, it's so far, I mean, spoiler alert, free is the right price because it's so stupidly fun to just run around and do nom 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 on everybody. It's Man-Eater, except it's in horror format and it's a Metroidvania. Like, I'm fine with that.
It seems like one of the the ultimate Devolver Digital published games where it's like it has all the elements of a traditional Metroidvania game, but you're
and then you do the Dutch tilt.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah, you're just controlling this giant mass of steak. Like it's just so weird, and it's like that's really what sets the games they publish apart. Where it's like it's just going to be a good game, and I like what you're saying about it. Not only being a Metroidvania, but I think what's so appealing is that even early on in the game, the speed sounds really appealing, because you look at a lot of screenshots of the game and even some early trailers, and your character, the biomass, is really big. It's easy to think of like this slithering thing that's just kind of taking its time to go up the walls, but hearing that it moves really fast is really appealing.
Quick. And it has the Metroidvania thing of separate rooms as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was lost and trying to figure out where I was going, I'm literally spending less than 2 seconds in a room as I'm like, is this the room I need? No, next one. Is this the room I need? No, next
ping,
one.
Ping,
it's just
ping.
Like shooting from room to room to room, and it doesn't have load times or anything like that. So
nice.
It's really easy to fly through. I genuinely am quite enjoying this a lot.
I'm gonna have to start
It's on Game Pass. Go give it a shot. Like it's so fun to be the thing. Literally the thing.
Right.
And there's also flashback sequences where you figure out what's going on. So that's kind of interesting too. But that's pretty much all I've been playing this week. Mr. Nimp, tell me about your 3,000 games.
Yeah. So this morning my daughter wanted to play a game with me. All right, cool. So we started playing, I think it's called Kingdom of Keflings on the 360.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This was the game that one of the couple of games that they made way back when, where you play as your avatar that you create and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We started playing that, and she told me that there was a chair that she needed to build, and apparently it was a rocking chair. And all you had to do was get these gift items, line them up in a specific pattern on the world, and then it creates this chair. Okay, she already had the gifts, so we lined them up to the pattern that it told us to. We made the chair, and I sit on it, and then she moves it, which then keeps my character in the air, and it got me stuck there. So I had to drop out of the game and go back into it to be able to play. And then I had asked her, okay, so we built your chair. What else do you have to do? That was apparently it. That was like the very last thing in that game she had to do. Because my wife and her play it fairly often. Right. So I guess that was the very last thing. It's like, okay, well, we've done everything in here. What do you want to do now? So then we moved on to our next game, which was Lego Indiana Jones 2.
Oh yeah. No, don't. Yeah. Why get down that rabbit hole?
She wanted to play it.
Can't say no to a Lego game.
Yeah, exactly. So we started that. We made it to the second area. Yeah, the second area, which is still part of the Crystal Skull, because that's what it starts with. I've unlocked the first Indiana Jones. I don't remember which one. I don't know. I think it was Temple of Doom, but I'm not positive. I wasn't paying attention, because after you beat the first area that it gives you, it brings you back out to the main screen, and then you have your little selection where you can go into creative mode now, and then you can go into the original Indiana Jones games. It's like, all right, whatever. So then we started part 2 of the Crystal Skull, which has some of the best Shia LaBeouf acting in it.
Yes.
No. Because he has nothing to do with it.
I've always said that those Lego characters can act better than some actors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at you, episode 1, Hayden Christensen.
I wasn't saying that this was still before they had voice acting of any kind, so there's a lot of emoting and body language going on.
A lot of
yeah, exactly. Just the zaniness stuff.
Right.
The only thing so far with this one that I don't like was that there was one section where you had to drive vehicles and constantly break up these other vehicles, where you basically just run into them. And it wasn't really... The controls just kind of suck. The camera's not that great for this. And it just keeps giving you tons of things to run into and tons of things that are shooting at you, which dying in this game isn't really an issue because it just respawns you, and there's no... Besides losing a couple of your Lego tokens, there's no real consequence to dying.
Studs, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
called
Whatever.
studs.
So there's
I'm
no
a Lego purist.
That's right. Lego game experts here.
there's no consequence to dying. It's just it wasn't that fun because driving the
Yeah.
vehicle wasn't all that great, and then it's a fairly decent sized map that you were driving around. So when you're trying to hunt down one motorcycle on this city block looking thing, and this thing's driving faster than you are, it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But we managed to get through that. We managed to get through into the next area, and that's when my 360 froze.
Oh no!
Yeah,
The
after
concerning
we beat a boss. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So it has autosave. I just don't know how often it kicks in.
Yeah.
Pretty much every transition I've seen. So if you've just beat
Okay.
the boss, I think it should have saved it after that transition.
Yeah. So
Not that I've played too many Lego games or anything.
Right.
well, and I remembered it having decent checkpoints, but I haven't played a Lego game in forever, so
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
remember. But I will say the biggest pain besides the driving area was also the train boss area, where you have the two crane arms that are constantly attacking your train.
Jeez.
That took a second to figure out, because when you're playing with a kid who doesn't want to get hurt at all,
Mhm.
and she can think outside of the box, but she's not really trying. She just wants to be there to break things and collect studs. So
The Lego things.
Understandable. Yep.
so I'm sitting here trying to figure out what's going on. I've got my daughter constantly yelling that she doesn't want to help because she doesn't want to get hit, and I'm telling her you need to do this because I have to do this thing, which means that I can't do this other thing. So
Right.
you need to man up and do that.
Dad's just trying to meet the objective here.
So we finally figured out we had to fix one crane so we can put a part on it, and then I can use that and then jump in, kick this guy's butt, and then we were good to go. But it took a second for me to figure out what it was that we had to do, because I wasn't used to the mechanic where the character that my daughter was playing has the ability to fix things. And we had just gotten this ability, so I wasn't entirely sure, what the visual cue was for this game.
Yeah, like what the symbol is for fixing stuff.
Yeah. Which
The old... God, I'm so pathetic. It's the slightly broken machine with black smoke coming off it and shiny blue parts, by any chance?
broken machine with black smoke / sparks, but no blue parts or anything.
Okay, the blue parts will be a later edition when they refined that thing.
Yeah, so, and that was kind of, like, I knew that the arm was broke, and I had a part that kept showing up no matter what we did with it, so I knew the two went together. I just couldn't piece together how they went together while still being attacked by the boss, with my daughter not wanting to play, but wanting to play.
Right.
Yes.
So it was a lot going on for me to try to take in and figure out, but we got past it. It just kind of sucked. And that was it. And it was fun.
Yeah, there's even the Indiana Jones ones aren't great, but they're still fine. Like, they're still good games.
Yeah. I like the fact that I can run around as Indiana Jones, twirling his whip around his head and beating up everything and breaking everything around him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Wait, does that count as me having seen those movies?
No.
It's like the CliffsNotes versions.
Yeah. You have to have Sean Connery in there, and he's not.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah. So that's all I played with my daughter this week. I played Call of Duty off and on this week just because it's getting close to the end of the Battle Pass. And I'm thinking
end of the season.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is probably the last one that I buy into. I've been doing it. I've only bought the Battle Pass once with money and then earning the rest of it with the tokens. So,
right.
But
yep, I do the same thing with Apex. The frugal lifestyle, brother.
Yep.
That's right.
But it's getting to the point where I'm starting to see discrepancies in how I'm getting killed and kill cams that aren't making sense.
I think the cheaters are finally coming in.
Yeah, just because... And I'm not noticing it. I've only had it happen like a handful of times. So it's not running rampant for me. But there was definitely a time where I was running down a hallway. I had my back to a corner real quick as I'm checking this other corner. And all of a sudden I get this guy just pops up behind me and does a one-shot. And there's another one in that same map where I'm getting shot at. I get killed. and the kill cam shows the guy on the other side of the map looking off in the distance, not even in my direction.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think probably after this season pass, I'm just going to kind of bow out. I'd probably pick it up here and there, but it just feels like they're wrapping down on it, and that's usually when all the cheaters come in, and that's usually when Activision just says, good luck, guys, have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember trying to play Modern Warfare 2 after like 2 more games had come out, because I still love that game on multiplayer. Now, boy, was that literally a nightmare.
Yeah.
But whatever. I had my fun. I got it for like $30 forever ago. It was fun.
Yeah.
Last game that I played for this week, Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah.
This is...
Tell me about your wind. I mean, wait, hold on.
Go on.
How in depth are you going with the photo mode, out of curiosity?
I personally am not.
Because some of the stuff I'm seeing on my Twitter feed is just insane.
It's incredible.
I've gone as far as activating photo mode, checking out all of the dumb stuff you can do with it, and then going back to playing the game.
There you go.
That works.
I'm never one of the guys that always goes, like, I barely use photo modes for any of the hundreds of games out there that have it. I think I've used it... Spider-Man, I think, was the last time I used it. Probably the first and last time I actually used it.
Only time I've ever used it.
Yeah, I think like my last one was Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, where I'm like, oh, that's a cool shot, and that was it.
I took a lightning storm web swinging photo and hanging upside down from the Avengers Tower selfie.
Yeah,
there you go.
That was it.
Yeah, photo mode has never been my thing. But playing this game, there's been a couple times where I should probably take a photo of that. It's like, it's not worth the effort.
Right.
I could just keep playing the game. But
right.
I have completed everything on the island that you started on that I am aware of. I have not removed all of the Fog of War. I basically just went through and completed the side quest that you get, the mythical quest that you get, and the main quest. And any question mark that I had on the island, I went through and cleared. Any Mongolian strongholds that were still on there, I cleared. So this map is quote-unquote empty for right now.
Got all the Borgia towers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have moved on to the very southern part of the North Island that I told you that I discovered that is way massive. Right. It's probably about 4.5 of the islands that you start on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And so I get to the very bottom of that. Some story happens. And then all of a sudden I look at my quest log and I have 6 main missions to do.
Oh god.
And 8 side quests to do.
There we go.
And there are a bunch of new icons that popped up on the island that I just left that I completed. And there's a bunch of icons that just showed up on the very southern region of this North Island that I just got onto.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, all right, let's do this.
Right.
But then I realized that it's noon today, and I have a podcast to do in 4 hours, 5-ish hours. So I should probably take a nap because I hadn't slept since yesterday.
Yep. That'll do it.
Right.
So I stopped it there, but there's a lot of things. I mean, God, I love every waking moment. Just want to play this game.
Nice.
And it's really grabbing me, and I want to go back to the island that I started on and complete the new stuff that popped up. And it's not even that hard to get there. There's no cutscene or anything. There's a little piece of land behind this one castle that you can just go up and down on. So it's just...
just like walk on over there?
Yeah, it's like you just grab your horse, run back down, or you can even fast travel. Like fast travel, loading in this is fast. And every icon point in this game you can fast travel to. So... no issue.
Nice. Yeah, I did hear it was very generous with that option.
Yeah, which is great. It's a lot like The Witcher in that respects. The Witcher you can only go to those post signs. So like Skyrim.
I think it was Skyrim.
So
Skyrim's just like, oh hey, here's the mark on the map. Let's go.
Yeah, you've got 15 icons in like a quarter-mile radius, and you can fast travel to any one of them. It doesn't matter. So
nice.
But yeah, I have unlocked different swords that are only skins, basically, that you can find in the world. And I have this one really cool one that looks like meteorite ore that I have been using.
Ooh.
And it just looks cool. I have my armor and stuff maxed out. I've got my sword maxed out. My bows are getting there. I can kill a fool, no problem.
Yeah, I've heard that this thing does a very good job of cosmetic rewards being in missions. Like mission completion just gives you cosmetic rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out Jim Sterling's Monster Factory on Twitter if you want to see some of the other options there. Like he's just been posting the craziest stuff, like the weird clown mask for the bottom of his face.
Yep.
He got a bucket head.
Yep. It's a wicker basket that you can put on your head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're all just like in game for completing missions.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
And
that's cool.
I really like the fact that besides the main armor set that you put on, it's all just purely cosmetic. It's not you're not looking for, your rare type or whatever gives you the best advantages. You can pick the armor set that you want to wear for whatever you're trying to do, and the rest of it is just whatever you want it to be.
That's nice.
So that's really great. And even with like the weapon skins, like it doesn't matter which one of those I have equipped because my weapon stat stays the same.
Right.
So
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, so I can have it look however I want, which is really cool. The starting sword looks pretty cool. So, but yeah, I just want to play more of this game, and it's going to suck up a lot of time.
That's good.
Especially since I just got all those extra missions.
Yeah.
So, that's all I've been playing this week. What about you, Boston?
All right. Joy-Con-a-thon 2020. Next update. I was super grumpy about that Joy-Con last week. I was really chewing on what to do, and finally remembered that Hori had made some replacement left Joy-Cons.
Okay.
And I was like, I didn't really want the Deus Ex Machina ones, the two ones that are like really big that have like the proper grips on them. Yeah. I didn't really want those because that's like a little too big. So I went looking on Amazon, and I was able to get because I didn't realize they were so cheap. A left Joy-Con from Hori for $20.
That's only about $80 less than Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right. And like I didn't really care about replacing both of them. I just wanted a left one that works. Like I'm really not asking for a lot. And I didn't want to send both of them back in after having literally just done that. So I waited like 2 days, and it came from Amazon. There's two downsides to it. Neither of these are deal breakers for me. One is they're not wireless. So they have to be connected to your Switch to function. Totally fine. I'm not using the two Joy-Cons wirelessly, and I don't play anything that requires that. The other downside is it doesn't have Rumble. Also not a big deal breaker. The other one does, and I kind of don't care about Rumble at the end of the day anyway.
Dude, it's HD.
HD Rumble. Yeah, I don't. It's fine. But so far, it has worked flawlessly. I actually really like the shoulder buttons on it. Instead of being the squishy ones that the Joy-Cons have, they're clicky, and they feel really good.
Like all the way in and then click, or like are they like GameCube modified ones where it's like press and click? No,
they just have like a really satisfying click to them. Where like on the normal Switch ones, you push them and they're a little springy, squishy. Like I feel like this is like the two opposite, where it's like, oh, you want the squishy ones. It's like, oh, you want a mechanical keyboard, or I want these type of keycaps. It's one of those things.
I feel like anytime I hit the shoulder buttons on that, the Switch doesn't recognize it, and I feel like I'm squeezing the stupid little Joy-Con to get it to
squeezing
recognize.
the life out of it. Yeah. These might be for you. I have two minor problems with it. One is the select button and the screenshot button feel like you have to push them a little bit too far for them to do their thing. That's fine. You're kind of never using them. So that's not a big deal. The other one, and this is purely personal preference, the D-pad feels a little squishy. It feels like I have to push just like a millimeter and a half too much to make it respond, but that's just a personal preference for me. Like, my wife used it and she's like, ooh, I really like this. And it's a proper D-pad. It's not like the thing the left Joy-Con has already with the 4 discrete buttons. It is a proper sort of concave joypad or D-pad. Yeah. It's really nice. And for $20, it's great. And it works, which is crazy. I played a whole bunch of Isaac on it this week, and it worked fine.
I saw somebody completed their post-it note.
We'll get to Isaac here in a minute, because that's the other version of Isaac I'm playing.
I found too the quote-unquote knockoff Gamepad Pro. Is that what they're calling it?
Yes.
The Pro controllers, whatever?
Yep, the Pro Controller, yeah.
The 2 that I bought for my kids from Target, those were like $20, and they were the 2 Legend of Zelda ones. He's got like the green Link one, and my daughter has the white Zelda one. I think
those are the Hori ones as well.
I was going to say, those are really awesome. And like I said, they were like $20 as opposed to like the $70, $80 that you pay for a Pro Nintendo
if you can
Pro.
Find one.
Yeah, so if you're looking to get a Pro and you want something kind of cheap just to check it out, check those out. So
yeah, I'm super happy with my purchase. Number one, because of price, and it has like a Mario design on it, so it's like fire flowers and like Mario sayings and stuff. I don't super care. It's a red Joy-Con that just has like a silk screen on it. It looks fine, and it was $20 friggin' bucks. So like at the end of the day, I don't really care. So hopefully I don't get drift on that, but hopefully this is the end of Joy-Con-a-thon 2020.
Well, until I get mine tomorrow.
That's I'm very curious to hear your experiences. I played a whole bunch of Stellaris this week. Oh
god, yeah, I saw you posted a Twitch on the title screen. I was like, why, Boston?
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop.
No, it's so good. There is a whole bunch of DLC available. I had basically the first half of the DLC, and I didn't have the second half. And I didn't realize, looking at the PlayStation Store, there's like 3 DLC packs. It was like $15, $8, and $6 or something. And I didn't realize that they had just a bundle for all 3 of those for like $22, which is a pretty significant savings. So I scooped that up. And I've been trying to create other species that maybe don't align with what I would typically play, and I'm sort of having a couple. I did like 2 runs this 2 kind of easy runs that went pretty quickly this past week, but the one that I started today that I'm on, I'm going to go way out of my wheelhouse, because I usually play a kingdom or a race that is going to expand, but not do so violently or take over. I want to like make migration treaties, and I want to make trade deals, and I want to do all that stuff. And I want to be allies with as much people in the solar system as I can, and make federations. What's up?
You want to be Gandhi, to use a civilization term.
Exactly, right. I just want to be friends and expand for as much as I can.
Well, wasn't Gandhi the one in Civilization that was always starting the wars to begin with?
Yep.
Okay.
Because if you made peace with him, the rumor is his aggression was tagged as 0, so he'd never start wars. But then if you did something with him that would reduce his aggression stat, like you made a treaty and became friends, his aggression stat would go from 0, and it didn't know where to go from there, so it clicked it all the way to maximum aggression.
Oh, it underflowed? Yeah. It went like 255. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my early games this week, I did have a species. The species type is essentially they want to eat everybody else in the galaxy. So that was the ones that I kept posting on Twitter, where it's like they kept throwing these like once every couple of years, I just get a message from them and there'd be these horrible insults. And it's like, why? Like, that was the power level pathetic I was talking about last week. It's like, I can crush you. The game is telling me I can crush you. Like, I know I can crush you. Like, one of your fleets of ships is like 7,500 power. I have a fleet over here that's 250,000. Like, I can look your direction and you're vaporized.
But they're still sending you emails giving you the double dukes.
So I destroy them. And by destroy them, I mean, I literally destroyed each and every mining platform, research station, outpost, star base. I invaded every one of their planets and decimated them and forced them to give me all of the planets that they owned. And it was awesome. So
you found the internet commentator in real life.
And I put a boot in their face. So I won that game pretty handily. I think I had double the points of the person in second place. So I tried another run that didn't really go anywhere because it was too similar to my first one. So the run that I'm on right now, that was all a roundabout way of saying I'm playing a race of murderous robots that want to assimilate every other race into them by turning them into perfect machines. That's the one I'm playing right now.
So you're the Borg.
Yeah.
Yes, it's literally the opposite of what I usually like to play. So I'm very curious to see how this playthrough is going to turn out, because even their responses to meeting new alien races for the first time are very much in character, where it's very much, you get three options that are all like, yeah, you're going to be one of us. See you soon. And it's, so far, it's really good.
Out of curiosity, Nimp, have you been whispering to him at all? Because this sounds an awful lot like a demon got on his shoulder and just started whispering sweet nothings in his ears.
That's the beauty of it. I don't have to say anything.
That's right.
Okay.
We all have it in them.
That's
I
right.
just live it.
Is it just 2020 brought this out of all of us?
Yeah.
I just wanted something that's so different from the regular, like, expand as fast as I can, super research as fast as I can. Like, I just want this. And I did, I have been playing it super easy just to get used to the new patches, because so much has changed and a whole bunch of other stuff changed after I installed that DLC. So I've been playing where, like, research counts for more. I survey the galaxy faster. There's no end game crises. There's nobody really that's going to be super aggressive. And I've turned a lot of that on for this run, just to say, like, the endgame crises I didn't make super powerful, because one of the great things about Stellaris is there are so many bars. When you go to create a new game, it gives you like 20 different bars, and it's like, all right, how many super advanced races do you want to spawn? How much do you want to sort of nerf yourself for research? How strong do you want end game crises to be, or do you want them to show up at all? Or do you want all this stuff? And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's like really inside baseball. Or do you also want the game to scale its difficulty to how strong you are? So if you find yourself getting really good, you're not really going to be able to stomp the rest of the game. Everyone is going to really sort of bring their kingdoms up to where you are. So it's really great. And pro tip for everyone: only play on Iron Man mode. Don't have Iron Man turned off. That's the coward's path.
Saves come for life.
Yeah, no saves coming. That's not the fun of Stellaris. It's, you made your choices. You drank the wrong liquid from whatever that quest is that always shows up. That turns you into a bunch of spore people. You gotta live with it, man. You made a choice.
I don't know, though,
Don't dispore.
playing as the Borg in that and making yourself the end-game calamity rolling across the universe sounds kind of fun to me.
So one of the really interesting things is, how do I explain this? There's essentially 8 different skill trees in the game. They call them it's not edicts, it's the other one. Traditions, I think they call them. I didn't realize they changed significantly for individual races. So this one is very much like reducing the cost of replicating your robots and sort of spreading them throughout the galaxy. And there's even one of them. One of the choices you can make in how your society runs is how loose you want to be with warfare. And there's a bunch of options where it's like just defensive only, you can take people over, or just complete offensive. And a subpart of that is your bombardment policy, which is as your fleet is outside of a planet, can you just bomb the hell out of them, whether there are civilians on there or not?
Oh, you chose to glass it, didn't you? You just glassed everything.
No, I typically don't, because if you can invade a planet with your army, you have a chance to take it over, including its population, which can give you their resources very easily. So I'd rather go do that way. If you max out one skill tree, you get to pick a special thing that significantly changes your game. One of them for this race is an additional bombardment policy that lets you steal people from inhabited planets, turn them into machines, and resettle them in other worlds. And I was just like, okay, I'm not sure I want that yet, but maybe. No, maybe that's evil, but maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Sounds useful to me.
We'll see. I haven't met. I'm leaving that one to decide later, because I haven't really found. Everyone else in the galaxy doesn't trust me because of I'm the Borg.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, like it very much says like trust -100, which is quite a lot, because you are the name of your race. It's like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll just steal everyone then. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm still building up my military.
Hey, you're a dad now, so you can get away with, you want to not trust me? I'll give you something to not trust me about.
That's right.
Well, they can trust you fully as soon as they assimilate.
Yep. You just have to become one of us, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Perfect, immortal machines. What could be wrong with that? Everything's great. Yeah. Stellaris is really great. I don't remember if it's still on Game Pass for Xbox One. If it is, the console versions run really great. The controls are fantastic. Obviously, the PC version is going to be way more up to date and have more DLC and stuff. Really excited for the Megacorp DLC to come to consoles. You can make a Weyland Yutani essentially and just take over the galaxy, and it will be really great. Anyway, that's enough Stellaris. I don't want to keep going down that rabbit hole. It's really good. Binding of Isaac, I for some reason got the bug, and I needed comfort food, which is why I'm playing Stellaris and Binding of Isaac. I decided, why not frustrate myself? Let's try and finish Greedier mode with a bunch of characters. I don't know why I hate myself.
You literally asked a question and answered the question in the same sentence then, by the way.
That's fair. Greedier mode is stupid hard. One of Binding of Isaac's problems is a piece of DLC will come out, and Ed figured this out. He figured out what the problem was when Afterbirth Plus's first booster pack came out. I'm not even going to explain that sentence. He realized that he was doing beta testing with people that have hundreds, if not thousands, of hours in the game. So when Afterbirth Plus came out, there are these wormholes that can spawn in rooms that, on release, nonstop push out enemies. Just every couple seconds, a brand new enemy would come out of there. He found that normal people or new players were finding it really hard on regular runs if they don't, know how to find the seams and break the game, that they couldn't beat those. So now they spit out an X number of enemies before they just disappear. I feel like Greedier mode never went through that. So greed mode in and of itself is a really cool mode. It is a wave-based mode with a button in the middle that has spikes on it. And it has a timer right next to the button. When that timer goes to 0 or you defeat all the enemies in that wave, another wave spawns. Defeat 9 waves, defeat 2 boss waves, and then you can go. It's a really great system that's really fun and can break the game in really exciting ways. And it was challenging enough, but you could sort of beat it if you are playing well enough or you get a really great run.
Mm-hmm.
Greedier mode just kind of hates you. The rewards you get are minuscule, so buying anything in the shop is rough. The timer on the first floor starts at half the time of greed modes. So it's typically between 6 or 7 seconds. And the majority of the enemies that are spawning are champions. So you can probably do the math and realize it's really hard. And the amount of time that's on the timer goes down every floor. So by the time you get to, let's say, the shop, the timer is typically 1 second.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
It's so hard. I've now beaten it with 2 characters, and a lot of those was like, all right, I'm on like my 10th or 15th run that didn't get past the first floor. Here we go. So
which characters, by the way, were they your specialty characters?
Isaac and Apollyon. So
okay, don't know the second one, so sure.
Apollyon.
I'm assuming Isaac a D6.
Isaac has a D6. Apollyon can absorb weapon items on item pedestals. So it's interesting.
Okay.
So I thought, that's really hard. This morning I woke up stupid early. Why don't I try to unlock the Forgotten? Which is an incredibly complex and crazy way to unlock a character. And I somehow managed to do it this morning through like the most perfect build for unlocking this character that is possible. And I managed to do it today. I unlocked the Forgotten, so now I can start unlocking stuff on that character's post-it note.
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna beat Delirium with this character. Nevertheless, the Lost. So I don't know. Too many really hard characters in this game that I need to beat. The hardest boss in the game that is shapeshifting into every other boss in the game. It's a nightmare. It's the worst. It's terrible. Yeah. I love Isaac so much. It's great. I can't.
I was waiting
it's so
for
good.
that line.
Yeah. Moving towards the 1 million point, the next please stop playing this game point is the 1 million% point, which
getting
there.
Nope.
Then the next
DLC.
The only thing next after that is 3 million%, which is doing 1 million on every one of the save files, which gives you a special save file display. And then Repentance will be coming out sometime. He says later this year, which means this time next year, which is fine. It's a lot of work.
He's got board games and other games to work on.
Yeah, we should be getting our tapeworm rewards here pretty soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a board game, folks. We're not talking about getting infected with something. We have a board game on the way.
I mean, yeah. It's only July in 2020. If Hellier could not give me tapeworms, that would be really great.
Yes, please.
Normally, I wouldn't have to make that request, but please. Lastly, super short one because I just started this. I started playing Paper Mario and the Origami King. This is the
How much do you love it?
I really like it, and this is my first Paper Mario game. I've never played any of the Paper Mario RPGs. I did play Super Mario RPG on the Super NES because it's really good. I guess I hadn't realized you've always seen screenshots of the writing in these games being really clever, even since the first one. This one continues that really nicely. The writing is really, really, really clever, and genuinely very funny. I think part of what I'm enjoying so much about this game is, and I know a lot of people are upset about this, and I don't even want to get into the conversation. It's not an RPG really anymore. What the battles are is really a puzzle now.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it, Mario's in the middle in a small circle, and there are 4 concentric rings around him, and you can spin the rings, and I just got a new power to push and pull one column. So basically, the battle starts, and either a bunch of Goombas are in a row or they're in a square, and then they shuffle around the board, and you get 20 seconds to make your moves to either put them in a row so you can do the stomp attack, stomp, 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 with the timing, of course. Or you can put them in a square so you can mash them with your hammer with the timing, of course. And if you get them all in the right orientation, it does like 1.5 times your damage. So you essentially just win the battle in one turn if you can get it right. I haven't done a lot of fighting yet. There's a significant amount of time between the tutorial battle and your first real fight. Enough so that the game, the character that speaks in this game goes, "Hey, it's been a while since the tutorial, huh? Let's go over this again real quick." It's like, okay, thank you. That was it was like an hour in between those battles. But so far so good. It's a lot of fun. I'm just mostly enjoying a lot of the origami puns, and seeing Origami Princess Peach saying, "Will you crease yourself and become perfect like us?" is really great.
Speaking of the Borg, that was a very Borg-like line.
It very much is. It's really great. I'm enjoying it a lot so far, and I don't have a super lot to say because it's been a couple of battles and then a lot of like environmental puzzles so far. But so far so good. It looks good. It sounds good. The writing's great. And it's funny.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed that Peach didn't say fold the knee.
She might have, actually. There's a lot of folding jokes and puns. Like there's so many so that it's hard to keep track.
If you ever want to go back and play an old one as well, Bowser's Inside Story, genuinely
those games are
fantastic game.
Yeah. I forgot about those. Those are good. Yeah. All right, but that's all I've been playing this week. So let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of July 27th, 2020. Destroy All Humans comes out PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia. This is the remaster of the first game that I somehow missed out on, even though people really love these games.
Yeah.
There's an excitement for this that I don't think I was expecting.
I also don't think you can go back, to be completely honest.
Probably. Yeah. You don't have to go back with Yakuza Kiwami 2 coming out on Xbox One with Game Pass day and date. People really love 2 a lot, so I've heard Kiwami 2 is really good. I haven't made it there yet, but it's really great.
I'm not gonna lie, every time you abbreviate day and date in this, I always think they're making a D&D version of this.
Yep, Game Pass D&D. Yep. Samurai Shodown Neo Geo Collection comes out on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. This one is, I think it's the first 5 or 6 Samsho games. The special one here is the one that never got released in arcades. They had done some location testing. It's like Samurai Shodown 5 Perfect, I think it's called. this is the only time it's being released. The first time it's being released. So that is super cool. The Samurai Shodown games are good, and I'm garbage at them. So I won't be buying this collection because
they are fighting games. So I am out.
Yeah. And last but not least, Grounded is coming out in early access for PC and Xbox One. That's showing up on Game Pass as well.
Oh, excited.
So for those of you that have problems with creepy crawlies, Obsidian has said before, and I'm hoping this is still the case on early access, that if you don't like a certain type of bugs, whether it is, or if you're an arachnophobia, or if you're Moon's wife and you don't like ants, you can turn that type off in your game. So
sorry, I love the fact that she's known now for that.
The ant hater. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you don't like a certain type, it's not like Earth Defense Force, where it's like, yeah, just get over it. They're huge. Apparently, you can.
Earth Defense Force is that cure by immersion kind of thing.
Right.
Pretty much any fantasy game that always has spiders in it because it's a thing for some reason.
And they're gross spider butts. Get out of here. So apparently, you can turn that off on this, which is great. I'm excited to see how this game turns out because Obsidian making a multiplayer Honey, I Shrunk the Kids game seems like it could be a kind of a cool thing.
And it's survival, and it's got like construction stuff and things like that in it.
We'll be talking about Microsoft's July first-party game event here shortly, but I was happy to see some of that survival building stuff. And I was like, okay,
I was
cool.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Speaking of news stories, let's get started here with Nintendo's third-party Direct Mini. People on the internet are stupid about Nintendo's third-party Direct Mini. So, Cadence of Hyrule is getting 3 DLC packs, $6 a pop. First one is out now, adds 5 additional characters, which is a lot. The next one adds some new songs to the tune of 39 of them. And the third one is adding Skull Kid on a brand new, entirely different map. So,
Skull Kid.
What's that?
It's just because it's Skull Kid.
Yeah.
Skull Kid is one of those Zelda characters that got this aura of fandom around him that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. I don't have to, and people are super excited. But if you have not yet picked up Cadence of Hyrule, the full version of the game with all the DLC will come out October 23rd. So if you want to wait until then to play a game that is incredibly good, you can get the whole thing then. If you don't want to wait...
End up doing...
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to wait, it's still really good, but I think our complaint when the base game came out was like, yeah, it's a little expensive, and then adding $18 on top of that might be a little bit much, but you probably find that it's a third-party game, so it might actually go on sale every once in a while, maybe.
It contains first-party characters. It's never going to happen.
That's true. It'll be $200 until the sun death of the universe.
Paying for it was never the issue for me, because I'm getting it one way or another. It was just I needed to work through my backlog before I added another game to it. So.
That's true. That's true. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is getting a remaster. It's also coming to PS4. God, Nocturne is really great, and the original was stupid hard, which is why I never finished it. One of the best style of any Atlas game. They are also this time adding I don't remember what they're calling this easy mode, the super easy mode in this, but that's probably the one you want to play if you have not played this game or played any of the other SMT games, because this game is really, really, really hard, and it enjoys kicking you in the teeth at every opportunity.
It was Dark Souls before Dark Souls.
100%. You just have to say the Matador, and people are like, no, stop. But yeah, that's coming out. SMT3 is really great. Also, Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is the Switch exclusive, is coming out next year with, for the first time for an Atlas game, a simultaneous worldwide release, which for Atlas is a pretty crazy thing, because it's usually like, hey, it comes out this year in Japan, don't stream it. It comes out in the US 2 years later, don't stream it.
So probably still won year of the JRPG.
That's right. All right, let's talk about our next news story here. Microsoft's July first-party game event. They opened it up, of course, with Halo Infinite. A longer demo than I was expecting them to show, but maybe a shorter one than I think I was expecting when I saw them drop the Warthog onto the Halo Ring World planet thing. Oh. The Halo, Mr. Halo, dropped the Warthog right on Mr. Halo.
It looks interesting. It looks like they turned Halo into an open world game.
Yeah, they've come out, they being 343, a lot of people don't understand. So they've had to do a little bit of messaging cleanup here because people apparently don't understand humans saying words on a live stream. When they say...
Or future release, or...
Yeah, when they say, like...
Development.
Hey, we're going to talk about multiplayer later, that doesn't mean they canceled multiplayer, you big dummies. That just means they're talking about it later because it's not coming out for... Anyway. 343 has said that apparently it's... The thing I'm likening it to is Gears 5. It's not really open world, but you get kind of these large environments that you can kind of wander all around and kind of attack however you want.
It's a hub on spokes.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. It's my understanding that you move from hub to hub in the story along, the ring world, Mr. Halo, and kind of handle that. I'm not the target market for Halo, so I'm not going to sit here and crap talk it. I didn't think this looked super great, but number one, it's a couple months off from release, so I'm sure this game will look pretty hot when it drops on Series X. But graphically wasn't super great this time, but it's fine. It's still in development. I do like the grappling hook. I think that looks super fun. But the rest of it, for better,
was the brutes picking up the grunts and throwing them at Master Chief.
It's pretty good. I think for better or for worse, it looks like Halo, and I think it's my understanding that that's what Halo's target market wants, and I feel like it's a lot like me with Gears, where it's like, okay, cool, more Gears, sure, you put some open world stuff in there, great, that's just icing. That's great.
You know what the funny thing to me is, like, obviously we don't want to labor too much because there's a lot of games to go through here. I don't care how a gun looks.
Yeah.
In my hand, I genuinely don't care how a gun looks.
Look at the reticle anyway.
Shooter. What is Halo known for? Hella good skyboxes.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, but that demo had hella good skyboxes, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It will get there or it won't. You'll play it or you won't, whatever. It looks fine.
Yeah.
I also find it kind of weird that we're going from jetpacks to grappling hooks now.
Right.
I mean,
the grappling hooks are fun,
but it just seems it feels like we're going backwards, even though it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah. They showed a CG trailer for what I thought was going to be the next State of Decay 2 DLC, and whoops, it's just State of Decay 3. Zombie Deer. So that I'm sure that will be great, and it will be a game that I'm interested in that I will probably unfortunately never play. Whoops. Rare showed off Everwild, which it looks super cool. But another one of those where it's like, I really like the style of this, and I kind of like the direction you're going, but I don't know what you're showing me, so we'll wait, I guess. They showed off Forza Motorsport, not Forza 8, 9, 8.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whichever. Who cares? It's Forza Motorsport.
Yeah.
It doesn't say Horizons after it. I don't care.
Yeah, like they were really pushing this one hard, saying it's like a reinvention for the Forza brand, 4K 60 frames, ray tracing, yada yada. They showed some like in-game like target footage, basically, not a lot, no racing or anything. I'm right there with you. I look at something like Dirt 5, and I look at something like not Forza Horizon 5, and I go, okay, but when's Horizon 5 coming? Like that's the thing I really want to play on my Xbox Series X, because I know that's going to look stupid good. Then next thing they show off was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. They announced that they're coming out with a native Series X version with a whole bunch of improvements, but the big one is they're increasing the frame rate to 120 frames per second. So what that really means is they obviously can't show that off super well on stream, but the thing that really means is you're going to get much smoother animation, which is great for that game because that game is real good looking. So maybe I will finish it this time. Don't Nod showed off their new game, Tell Me Why. That looks like a Don't Nod game. I don't know what else to talk about there.
There is apparently they have come out and based on the trailer / gameplay stuff, there is some
concern
content in some concerns over the content in there. And I haven't read it, but I've seen it. They have already come out before. As soon as the trailer came out, they were like, here is an article, here is everything that you might have questions about with concerns with this game, and we are answering them as best as we can.
Including the ending. Here's where we're going with this. Like, if you want to spoil yourself on the ending because you're concerned about it, here it is in this article. There are still problems with how Don't Nod is approaching their stories and their games with representation that I am probably, as a white dude in his late 30s, I'm probably not the person that you should listen to. You should go listen to people that are knowledgeable on this topic. But it sounds like there continue to be people that are in these communities that are creators are saying, hey, you should do X, Y, and Z to be better. And Don't Nod is like, sure, here's our next game. It's like, that's maybe not the step you should be taking. But anyway, Obsidian showed off Avowed, which, thanks to Monkey Senior in our Discord,
the trailer?
Said because this is the one with the arrow flying through the air, he just thought it said arrowed. So now that's the only thing I can think of for this game.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It did the kingdom was at wars, and it had a British person talking, so I was like, well, this is clearly Fable.
Yeah, 100%.
I actually thought this was Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
5 times during this whole thing, I was like, well, it's a fantasy setting, there's a British person talking, it's clearly Fable.
Right. Was it Stephen Fry, though? That's the real question. But yeah, this looks like kind of Obsidian's first-person fantasy thing. They didn't show a lot here about this either, but a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's Obsidian Skyrim, which feels pretty reductive, but if that gets you into Obsidian games, then sure, come on over. But I'm excited to see what this is as development goes on. But we'll...
Also, for the record, I loved Obsidian Fallout, so I'm fine with them making an Obsidian Skyrim.
True, that's a good point.
There's also some chatter that this may potentially be taking place in the world of Pillars of Eternia.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know how reliable that is, but...
Tie them all together, man.
Yeah, me and a couple other people have heard a lot of more intelligent people talk about it. So, it's like, all right, I'm down with that.
Interesting. As we talked about earlier, Grounded got a trailer here. Well, they're like super cheeky, like if you're waiting for the next game, play Cyberpunk. One of those sort of trailers.
I'm not going to lie, I really love that.
That was a pretty good. They maybe pushed it like maybe 2 jokes too many. But I did appreciate they showed a lot of the survival stuff, a lot of the like the scale. There was that big Battletoads toy that people were standing on. Like I liked they showed some of the scale of that stuff. They showed the base building, which I had no idea was in this game at all. And
me either.
I that made me way more interested. So that comes out, like we talked about just a minute ago. That comes out this week. So go check out Early Access for that.
As soon as it's out of Early Access, I guarantee you Team Gather and Kill. I'm Team Gather. My wife is Team Kill.
Right.
We'll be playing this together.
There you go. Hellblade 2, they didn't... Not sure why they were here. They didn't show any new footage or talk about any new info. They just said, we have a documentary about our travels to Iceland on our YouTube channel after this. So go watch that, I guess. The Outer Worlds Peril in Gorgon comes out September 9th. This is the first story DLC for the Outer Worlds. It looks like a lot more of that. Okay. Not a lot of... There was like a cyber chainsaw sword and that seemed to be the big thing there. I'm sure there'll be a lot more, but not sure. Honestly, not sure I want to go back to the Outer Worlds again. I feel pretty happy with my time in that.
Yeah, I had my time. I had my experience. I'm done with it.
Yeah, I'm good. I liked it fine. As Dusk Falls is the next game. This is that really cool-looking, stylish adventure game that had multiple families and multiple like crimes going on at the same time. Not entirely sure what that is, but I sure do like how that looks. Double Fine came back with Jack Black, and I thought it was going to be a sequel to
Legend.
A sequel to Brutal Legend. I got super pumped until I got super pumped that this is another trailer for Psychonauts 2. They focused on the 60s psychedelic world with Jack Black singing an appropriate theme song for that. Apparently he's on the soundtrack because of course he is, and he's voicing a character they haven't announced yet because of course he is. Psychonauts 2 looks really good.
I should play the first one at some point.
Yeah, maybe not. It wasn't the best when it came out, and it has not aged super well, even though they finished the total... They fixed the total BS final world eventually. I bet someone will have like a story, like an hour-long like cutscene story thing to put together. I would probably just watch that. It didn't control the best when it came out, and I don't know if you can go back to it.
It was a perfectly all right game.
Yeah, it was
kind of story.
Yeah, the voice acting and the writing and its charm really sort of carried it, and the rest of it was a 3D platformer on the original Xbox. For all its pluses and minuses. Tetris Effect Connected was announced. It looks like they are, number one, thank you for bringing that to the Xbox platforms. Thank you. Number two, it looks like it's Tetris Effect, but they're putting a proper multiplayer mode on it, not just the we're all going to work together towards a common goal thing. So you haven't played Tetris Effect, go do it. That game's incredible. The only trailer I really missed because my kid was yelling at me was Stalker 2. I'm not really the target market for that anyway, so...
I kind of am for this one.
Okay.
When it started, I was like, wait, are they announcing another Metro game already?
That's what I thought too, yeah.
Right. We just had one of those.
They're similar.
From what I remember as well, I'm pretty sure some of the Metro devs were the Stalker devs, the OG Stalker devs too. And literally it came up and I was like, I'm so excited. It's going to be so broken. And then I immediately saw on Twitter someone saying, my only concern with Stalker 2 being on platforms is how is it going to be as broken as F?
Right, like it needs to be broken.
It needs to be broken to continue the legacy of Stalker.
Bloober showed... I just want to say Bloober. Bloober showed off more of the medium. This is... I sort of forgot about this game because its original trailer, I think during the last Sony trailer thing, whatever. The last Sony, not E3. I sort of forgot about, but I'll probably remember it this time because they really pushed that they are rendering 2 games at the same time. I'm sure that's marketing BS. I'm sure, someone will debunk it, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Dude, do you not remember Titanfall 2?
I remember Titanfall 2, one of the best single-player campaigns of all time, because Titanfall 2 is incredible. Go play Titanfall 2. It's like $4.
And it has that sequence in it where it's rendering 2 worlds at the exact same time.
So good. But this one, they showed they're rendering the normal world and hell world, whatever you want to call it, the spirit world, hell year 2020 at the same time. And that looks kind of cool.
I'm 100% in for this.
It seems like a cool idea.
And Bloober Team have proven to me that they keep getting better and better. The last game they did, for example, was the Blair Witch Project, which is terrifying. Right.
Yeah, I think this could be a cool idea, depending on how well they do. But I keep forgetting that Bloober keeps putting out games, and they keep genuinely getting better title over title. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide was shown off. This was a CG trailer, so...
Hey, the vibe I got from this is, hey, it's end times. It's Vermintide, but in the 40k universe,
Right.
and I'm 100% down for that.
Yeah, like my assumption is it's probably a 4-player survival sort of thing, which sounds great. No complaints there.
If you haven't played Vermintide, go play Vermintide. They're great.
That's right. Destiny 2, surprisingly coming out with a gameplay trailer here, which we haven't seen anything gameplay or for Beyond Light. That looks dope. Ice powers. Looks super cool. Most importantly, Destiny 2 is going on Game Pass this September. It includes everything other than season pass purchases. Those are like the $10 battle pass for every season. So that is the base game, which is free if you want to start playing now. Forsaken and Shadowkeep. And then this November, when Beyond Light comes out, you'll get that for free too as part of Game Pass. So play Destiny 2. I will help you. Hit me up, Jansen, on Xbox Live.
Nope.
I would just help you get into it because, boy, is the onboarding experience on Destiny 2 real bad. I will help you. Hit me up. Next game is The Gunk. This was that really cool stylized, like, vacuuming space goo game that...
Blinks the Space Sweeper.
Yeah. Not a lot. I think this was another CG one, but the style is cool enough that I'm kind of excited about it. We got a trailer for Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, which is an entire reboot of PSO2. Yep. It's standalone, and apparently you can switch between versions. I don't know what that means, but this makes a lot of sense why they're just dumping expansions for PSO2 on PC and Xbox One here in the US, because they are just rocketing right towards this complete reboot of it.
Yeah, they're basically adding an online-offline mode, like what the GameCube versions were.
Wow, okay. Jeez, that's real big. And it looks way different, and it seems like it moves much faster.
I'm kind of excited for it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Next game here, Crossfire X, which they are still pushing. They're
For the record, I'm only interested in this for one reason and one reason only, and it begins with an R and ends in an Emody.
Yeah, I don't know. They're pushing this single player story mode that they have during. There's something about Crossfire that I cannot give two wet farts about. And even though it's Remedy, and I like most of their stuff, something about it.
Dude, it's gonna be garbage. Like, let's not make no bones about it. Remedy, this is a contracted single player story mode that Remedy are doing. Probably at the behest of Microsoft.
Right.
Just so they can give Crossfire, which is a online only multiplayer shooter in the Asian reaches of this planet.
Right.
Something to get people to try and install it on their Xboxes.
In the States.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah. And the last game they showed off was Fable. That was a CG trailer of some countryside. The most important thing is that Playground Games is still working on it, which I think is really great.
It's been the rumor for like 5 years now. Is Playground is staffing up for Fable
since Horizon 2. I think has been like, we're working on 2 games at the same time. This is the teaseriest of teaser trailers, and there's literally nothing to go on here. So, of course, there's a new Fable coming. I'm interested because it's Playground Games making it, but I have not been the biggest Fable fan, so I would like to see them reinvent Fable, and I hope that this time off after Fable 3 will give them the opportunity to do so. So I'm very curious to see what they come up with.
For the record, by the way, I am a Fable fan.
Yeah.
I am a not Peter Molyneux fan.
Well, yeah, I think that's most people.
Has anyone actually said that this is going to be a new Fable and not just a reboot of the first one?
I've
heard back and forth.
Like a remaster?
Yeah. Or just like a complete overhaul of the first game.
I feel like they would have come out and said that this was like like they said with Forza. Like, it's a reimagining of, that to me is sort of like, yeah, we're starting back over. They're really, this to me seems a lot like the Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer, where it's like, we're working on it. Stop asking us, chill out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new console, a new Fable will happen on that console. Relax. It's like a relaxed nerds trailer where it's like, relax, nerds, we got it. We own the IP. Chill out. It's fine. Peter Molyneux is over there making another mobile game about chipping away a cube or something. He's not involved. Don't worry about it. The Forza Horizon guys are. Don't worry about it.
It would be great if there's horse racing in there and they go to the Fable Horizon Festival.
That'd be great.
You have to do like horse racing.
There has to be a joke about they're in there. That has to be a joke in there. All in all, I thought this was a pretty good showing from Microsoft. They came out beforehand. They said, we're not talking about hardware, release date, price, nothing. We are just spending 1 hour chock full of games. And I like that they showed off a wider range of stuff than they usually do. They showed off some cool adventure game stuff. They showed off rares, like third-person platformer cartoony stuff. They showed off a wider range of things, which I definitely appreciate, because I feel like that's what Sony did really well at their last one, and I was happy to see Microsoft do the same thing here. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the. I just saw news story number 4. We'll hit that here in a second. I wanted to talk about what Square Enix announced right before this Microsoft trailer showcase, that Dragon Quest XI S is coming to Xbox One and PS4, and as I'm saying, with an issue. So it has all the features from the Switch and 3DS versions, the 2D mode that you can play the whole game through, the additional content, the soundtracks, voice tracks, all that stuff. And it's only $40. But the PS4 and the Xbox One versions are a port of the Switch version, which means there is a pretty considerable graphical downgrade. It'll still be 60 frames. It'll still run super well. It just sort of looks bad. The original game looked really good, and seeing the side-by-side that Square has put out, it does not look great. Yeah. So maybe just play it on the Switch. It's only $40, so if you haven't played Dragon Quest XI before, Dragon Quest XI is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that this will come to Game Pass, because pretty much everything else Square is. So if you don't need to play it right now, maybe wait until that eventual Game Pass announcement.
Well, so the only reason I would even want this version is just because it comes with the 3DS version, which the PS4 didn't get, but the Switch did get. But I'm not paying $40 just to check out the 3DS version, especially since it should have come with the PS4 version to begin with anyway. So
yeah, and Square is saying that like they completely remade the game from the ground up for the Switch version to introduce the 2D mode and all the other stuff, and they said that they don't have the schedule to redo it again for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And like, I get it, I just don't know why you bother.
Yeah,
like it's a little bit baffling.
We get mobile ports released on the PlayStation and the Xbox and on Steam every single day.
Sure.
This is fine. This is more than passable compared to some of the hot garbage I see in the newly released section on any store.
Dragon Quest XI is really great, so go play it somehow. And last news story, Moon wants to mention the Summer Spotlight series from ID at Xbox on YouTube.
Yes, this is something that I didn't even know. It seems to be doing in conjunction with Keely's thing that he's doing.
Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, well, the idea Xbox team are doing a Summer Spotlight series, which is basically 7-minute trailers that cover like 4 or 5 indie games.
I had no idea they were doing this.
I didn't either until it popped up on my dashboard. I was like, what? So I clicked it, I watched the trailer and was like, oh, this is series 3. I'll go watch series 1 and 2 and then wait for the next one.
Right.
Guess what? They're up to series 6. They have 6 trailers out with a whole bunch of games in them.
That's cool.
And I may or may not have already started making notes of games like The Forgotten City, Paradise Lost, Everspace 2, Call of the Sea, which we know about, Atrio, The Dark World, No Straight Roads, Void Train. Go check out the trailer for Void Train if you like survival games. And Backbone are all games that I saw in there. Not all of them, but games I saw in those trailers. And I'm like, okay, now I'm watching these games.
But most importantly, Everspace 2.
Everspace 2.
That's right.
But yeah, there's 6 so far. I think the 6th one came out today, so I haven't seen that one yet. But
I'm going to have to go watch
on YouTube,
those.
just literally search for Summer Spotlight series, and it'll be like the same kind of background as the Games Fest thing is, like the summer colors with stupid patterns.
Does ID at Xbox have their own YouTube channel, or is it part of the Xbox?
I think they have their own YouTube channel.
Okay, I bet that's why I haven't seen it. I'll have to go follow them.
Possibly.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to questions. Dark Sage in Twitch chat says, I know today The Witcher 3 is held in high regard in terms of how to make a game and how to build an open world game, but I've wondered between Mass Effect 2 and The Witcher 3, which one was more of a masterpiece and had a bigger impact on how games are made today?
Mass Effect 2.
Nope, Witcher 3.
This is a really good question.
What's your reasoning for Mass Effect 2? While Boston thinks.
I have my answer. I'm curious.
For me, Mass Effect 2 had a bigger impact because Mass Effect 2 started that whole... It was partially responsible, at least, for that whole... Everything can be done in engine.
Yeah.
And everything can be done in a relatively seamless way. Obviously, it's not flawless, but... like the whole going down to a planet and then exploring the entirety of that planet's surface that you could, and going in from quest to quest to quest to quest to quest and then back in your ship. Like it made games feel so much bigger. Obviously, load times and everything else, and they even throw in the load time joke there.
That's right.
But it felt like it was the culmination of the entirety of the 360 like generation to get to that point. Like, don't get me wrong, Uncharted is incredible, but Uncharted is a single linear path taking you down a very scripted thing, whereas Mass Effect, rightly or wrongly, it gave you that impression of that you can affect everything in the world. Also, in the Diamond of Stories, it was the widest point in that story, so it had so much there to give.
I think Mass Effect 2 is my choice. I think to piggyback on top of your points, Moon, I think we have seen it didn't introduce loyalty missions, but I feel like it gave a framework around them to kind of, and we've seen so much of that. We saw that in Gears 5. Like we've seen the ripple effects of a lot of what Mass Effect 2 didn't introduce, but I feel like it popularized and kind of not perfected, but you'd see them honing in on the how to get that stuff right. And on top of that, it had so much good DLC that expanded the story, expanded the world, had a little bit of fun with itself, and then dovetailed really nicely directly into Mass Effect 3 with that very last DLC that launched like right into the beginning of Mass Effect 3. And I think The Witcher 3 is an incredible game, and it's one of my favorite games this generation. But I feel like what The Witcher 3 has done well is it perfected that open world RPG. And having choices and having really meaningful side quests that you can fail because you just took too long, and the time limit really means something. And there are a bunch of Witcher stories where nobody wins, like all the Witcher stories.
Yeah.
And I feel like it smoothed the edges off of that stuff really well. But I think probably not until next generation will we see really the payoff from how strong Witcher 3 did stuff. Potentially Cyberpunk. But I feel like we maybe haven't seen the payoff on that stuff like we've seen for Mass Effect 2. For me, at least.
It is worth mentioning as well, like, for me, one of the reasons Mass Effect 2 is such a huge deal is because there was genuine risks in that game. Like, literally, it's about a suicide mission.
Right.
You could end that game with just Shepard.
Yep. And let's be honest, we liked the first Mass Effect. It's not a great game.
It's not great. It's good. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination.
But they did so much work on Mass Effect 2 very quickly to make it a fun game to play. And, like, you can manage your inventory, which is crazy. There's a lot of foundational stuff that they did in Mass Effect 2 that I think set the rest of that franchise on the right track.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Mass Effect 2, I think The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2 were genuinely fantastic games. I think The Witcher 3 is the easiest step into that franchise because 1 and 2 was still... I've tried playing 2 several times, and it's still a cluster to get my head into that kind of universe.
And God,
3 feels like the easiest way in.
Yeah, 1 is insane. 3 is the only one I've clicked with.
I think it owes that introduction into the world to games like Mass Effect, which showed you how to do it a little bit easier.
Interesting. Yeah. What do you think, Dimp?
I picked Witcher 3 just because I don't even consider the Mass Effect games to be an open world game.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
Understandable.
Yeah. And Witcher 3 developed a lot of systems, a lot of quality of life systems in it that you don't even see in the Mass Effect games. The fast travel system, you see that stuff in Skyrim, but like just something as simple as, hey, you picked up an item, instead of scrolling through several websites to figure out, do I keep this item? Can I sell this item? It just goes right into the junk and you know you can sell it.
Oh, sure. That's a good point.
There's other things with the traveling as well, like the horse traveling. Best horse traveling in a game.
Yeah, just let it walk on this path. Let it do its thing.
Yeah, just hold it down and it will just take you there.
That's a good point. I always forget about that.
Yeah, so I mean that's why, and I love the Mass Effect games. I even like 3. I even like Andromeda. I know, controversial, but
Andromeda is a fine game. It's not as bad as nerds on the internet think it is.
But to me, honestly, Witcher 3 is an open world game, and the Mass Effect games just aren't. Andromeda got a lot closer to an open world game than 2. But yeah, there's systems in Witcher 3 that you never really saw beforehand that you are seeing. Like I see systems like that in Ghost of Tsushima.
True.
So that's why I picked The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I'm just going to break down this question a little bit here as well. He says, which one was more of a masterpiece and had a bigger impact on how games are made today? I'm going to split that in 2. I think, genuinely thinking, Witcher 3 is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
No matter which way you look at it, it's a masterpiece of video gaming. There's also helped by the fact that it's made by CD Projekt Red, who have the GOG money behind them. It's not Steam money, but it's GOG money. So they have the funds and the leadership to be able to say, no, we're just going to wait another year or 2 while we work on this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Something that BioWare never had with EA and never will have with EA.
And Valve doesn't make games, so...
Yeah. I think that Witcher 3 is more of a masterpiece. I think Mass Effect 2 had a bigger impact.
I get behind that, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree Witcher 3. I think there's very little wrong with Witcher 3, if much at all. I would agree it's a masterpiece. It only gets better with like each piece of DLC that you start playing.
Yeah. It also doesn't help that each piece of DLC is its own world.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Witcher 3 is so good.
And I can get behind you guys choosing Mass Effect because I played Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, never had any issues. I read the books because I found out when Witcher 2 came out that there were books, so I got those.
The books are really good.
Yeah. So I was real heavy into that lore. But if you don't get into that lore, you don't know what's going on. Just like, and you were saying that you were having a hard time wrapping your head around too. There are complicated mechanics in that. Mass Effect, I feel, had a really good story. And whether you liked the fact that it was diamond-shaped or not, it gave you choices, and maybe not all those choices panned out. But you had people who had different experiences with the game.
Right.
So, I mean, that was pretty cool. So
yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, they're both great games.
Yeah,
if you haven't played either one of them, play them. They're really great. It's really unfortunate that we don't have a Mass Effect remaster trilogy that's readily available, because I feel like if they would smooth some of the edges on the first game, which I'm sure is a massive undertaking, especially from a licensing standpoint, I'm sure that would be really easy to just say, like, pick this trilogy up and just start at the beginning and just go through it. But
honestly, that's the thing that's going to cost Mass Effect in the long run. It will fade from knowledge because it hasn't been re-released 1,000 times.
Yep. And
everybody thinks Skyrim is great for a reason, because it comes out every 2 days.
Well, and the PC version of the first one has a really great modding community, so you can smooth some of the edges on the game, but it's sort of not the point for accessibility. Yep. Great question, Dark Sage. Thank you. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says, rapid fire questions. Cheat code or password off the top of your head. Moonpeer, go.
IDGFA.
Nimp.
AF.
Power overwhelming.
The immediate one I thought of was IDSPISPOPD from Doom 1. It's the no-clip code. It's stupid. I don't remember. Why is that one in my brain? It's the worst. I don't remember, like, my mom's birthday now, because I remember that. Last WTF moment you had playing a game. I literally had one last night in Obra Dinn, and it's such a huge spoiler. And, like, a moment I don't want to take away from people playing it right now, but it's like the screen went to black and the screen came back, and I was just like, Jesus, okay, here we go.
Is that the reveal of what potentially might have happened?
It's like one of the first big reveals where you're like, how'd this person die? And there's like a lot of noises and a lot of people die, and I'm like, what is happening? And the graphics come back up, and I'm just like, oh no.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The last big one that I had that I can think of off the top of my head was Would You Kindly?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Because that was a massive one where that clicked, and all of a sudden I had that flashback running through my mind of,
like, all the dominoes started falling. Yeah.
I'm struggling to remember them, to be honest. Like, I've got two. One is Space Gods in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood 2 or whatever it was, speaking to you, the player playing the game who controls Desmond.
Where it's like, isn't that right, player? And you're just like, Jesus.
Yeah, they're like breaking the 5th, 6th, and 7th wall, all just for fun.
Right.
But the other one is actually similar vein to Nimp. It's Bioshock 2. It's the perspective shift.
Yeah.
It's
talk about
one of my favorite moments.
Rendering two worlds at the same time. One small one for me as well is The Walking Dead Season 1 at the beginning of episode 4, I think, where someone just, in a crazy loading thing, fires a gun at someone and just murders someone, and it happens like that, like in the middle of a sentence. It's just like, oh, Jesus. Like,
actually, that's a game that's got like 5. The Salt Lick moment.
Oh, God.
Jeez. Yeah.
There's the digging the grave for the collar moment, too, where it's just... Walking Dead Season 1 was really great.
So Udawari Ramono had a very good plot twist at the end of no matter which of the 3 games you're playing, there's a good plot twist at the end of that, too, where it's kind of like, whoa, what's going on?
Right, like, what's happening? Yeah.
And by the way, Walking Dead Season 5 has got a couple of those moments too, and it's got one incredible moment like that, but I cannot mention it without spoiling the entire game.
Right. What game? Yeah, probably.
No.
What game took you the most effort to enjoy? Oh, that's
Star
a good
Ocean: Last Hope.
Yeah.
Isaac. Because I bounced off Isaac for the longest time because I just didn't get it. Coming from a dude who now does a roguelike podcast, right. I didn't get it.
And did an Isaac podcast specifically?
When I first started, I didn't get it. I'm pretty sure I bounced off that game so hard.
I think you did, yeah. Oh, man. What's the game that took you most effort to enjoy?
Bloodborne's starting to get that way.
What was that, Moon?
Souls game. Eternal Sonata.
Yeah, Eternal Sonata, that was...
It's a great, fantastic game, but oh boy, is they just like got that undercurrent of dark under everything that happens.
See, I liked that, but it was around like the halfway point, maybe a little afterwards, where all of a sudden it had like a steep difficulty incline.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of if there's anything recently that I had to get over an initial huge hump, and I'm really having a hard time remembering anything.
Okay, I think I figured out the best answer for this.
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the learning curve on Elite Dangerous is a vertical cliff.
Just 90 degrees up.
Before you even start enjoying that game.
That learning curve is what sucked me into that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mine might actually be No Man's Sky. Like the launch No Man's Sky, where it's like,
yeah,
here you go, we're not explaining anything, and it's nearly impossible, good luck. And like, the more I kept sticking with the game, and the more I kept like peeling back its layers, I'm like, okay, like I can kind of see a really great chill experience. Now it's like a completely different game.
Boston?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about a little game called Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, I'll stick to Stellaris. Let's stick to the 2D one.
No Man's Sky is a lot more polished and better than it was when it was released.
Yeah.
However, I am still constantly finding that I have to figure out ways around glitches in the game that keep screwing me over.
You and your family are like the best QA team on the planet. It's like, hey, I played the game and I hit the A button, started, and it crashed. Help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person who died 5 minutes after starting the game because it didn't spawn my ship in like it was supposed to.
Right.
And then
Good
it spawned
times.
my sons into a mountain.
Yeah. Good stuff. What game was supposed to be your peanut butter and chocolate, but instead you just could not get into it?
Star Ocean Last Hope.
I've got a spreadsheet I need to open up here because I literally forgot the name of it.
Is something this year?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. What else? I feel like, let me also fire up my list of games for this year, because I feel like something...
Sunless Sea.
Oh, Sunless Sea. What a game tailor-made for you and I, Moon. Like, just literally checks
story-based,
every box.
steampunk, roguelike, slow, nice and simple-ish mechanics. Oh, it should have been Game of the Year. Instead, it was Game of my nightmares.
A minor one from this year, Minecraft Dungeons. It's like, it's like an easy, sort of fun, kid-focused loot game, but it's kind of too thin.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I wasn't such a goldfish, because it's a benefit that this show's been going on for so long, and someone's like, hey, in episode 55, you talked about this game that was perfect for you. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't know. I was like in my 20s then.
Dude, I don't know what I had for breakfast this morning. Spoiler alert, actually I do. The answer is nothing. I don't know what I had for breakfast yesterday.
That's right.
So there's a reason I have to take notes every time I play a game on the show. It's like, thank goodness for the Xbox console companion, because otherwise I wouldn't remember.
Yeah. I feel like there hasn't been one. Sunless Sea was probably the last really big, like, kick in the giblets.
So good.
Where it's just like
style, everything about it was so.
It just it never came together in such a disappointing way, and I put so much time into that game just to like try and get to that point, just to like get over that hump and try and put the time in, and it just kept getting worse.
Yep.
Such a bummer. Nymph, do you have anything you can think of?
Besides Star Ocean, so far, no, I can't think of anything else.
Last question here. Favorite TV show or series to watch while playing a game? Arrowverse. Listen to the Outcast.
I don't watch TV or anything like that while I'm playing. I listen to podcasts and stuff, and I'll listen to podcasts, I'll listen to music, I'll listen to audiobooks.
Yeah.
But I can't watch things at the same time. If I'm rewatching something, it's going to be Supernatural, it's going to be early Arrowverse, it's going to be Stargate, it's going to be
Parks and Rec.
of Parks and Rec, it's going to be the stuff I've seen hundreds and hundreds of times, which at that point, I'm not even really watching it. I'm listening to it, and I can probably quote it line for line anyway.
Yeah.
But if it's something fresh and new, it's podcasts, it's listening to music, it's audiobooks, like mentioned in the Outcasts earlier today. I'm listening to Dune again because I love that book series so much. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And 2B and 9S can just ramble about whatever they're talking about while I'm slicing robots in half. Sorry, machines. It's a machine.
That's right. Most importantly.
I generally listen to podcasts while I play games too, unless I'm really into a game, and then I just listen to that. But I don't watch anything. But there was a time, this is real nerd, when I was still living at home as a young teen, we had On Demand. Mm-hmm. So on my, 190th time replaying Final Fantasy VII when I was grinding, I would be playing that and grinding and watching on-demand movies at the same time.
Smart.
And that's how I got through Pulp Fiction, Boondock Saints, all this other odds. And it would be funny because I was working a part-time job at the time. So I would come into work and somebody would be like, "Oh, have you ever watched this movie?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I'm halfway through that right now." And they're like, "What do you mean you're halfway through it?" It's like, I was halfway watching it. I was playing a game and then I had to come to work. And I'm going to finish watching it while I grind when I get back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of an interesting way to watch movies. So
yeah, good multitasking.
Yeah.
We have one more question here, but I'm going to save it for next week because it's a little bit longer here and we're pretty much out of time because you've been recording for a real long time, which means that's the end of our episode. You can visit us at tvgp.tv. Everyone find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Get some great audio. Hear Moonpear yell at me at the uncensored Outcast this week.
Several curse words were uttered, including my wife's favorite.
It was a very sweary episode this week.
Very strong beginning.
Well, he's a good developer.
We had a lot of opinions and feelings and a lot of words. Get a bunch of other early access audio. Help me pay for the shows. Help me stream me playing a scary game and probably crying about it. Game Club, as we mentioned, we're playing Return of the Obra Dinn. I am very appreciative there's voice acting, so I know exactly how to pronounce that ship's name now, because it's like the first sentence they utter in the game. Thank you. Appreciate that. We just started another... We're about halfway through another game on We Rogue Like It, which is Everspace 1, which... Listen to this week's episode for us following up on a recommendation from Monkey Senior's recommendation last week, which a very good episode this week. You should be playing Everspace. It's very good.
Yeah, I don't have time.
Yeah, it's a roguelike. You got time.
Make time.
Runs are short.
I will make time because it always goes on sale. Eventually, I will get it for $20 with the DLC.
Yeah, that's a good price for it. Yeah.
I have Ghost of Tsushima.
That's our episode for this week. Thank you very much for everyone for listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Okay. Bye.
Snip that out for a ringtone. Oh, someone's calling me. Ciao, ciao, ciao. All right, Nim, hit me with your titles.
Okay. I have episode some number.
By the way, it's 666 today.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me.
I sort of didn't even want to address it and just let it hang, because I feel like most shows would be like, it's the devil, blah, 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 and I didn't.
Welcome to episode 69.
Yeah, I don't have a good joke for it.
As a title, please. Boston's guitar riff.
Devil horns.
Next I have no. Trust negative 100. I don't know. We should be getting our tapeworms. Will you crease yourself? the Anteater, and Mr. Halo.
Oh my god, there's too many. Hold on. Should be getting our tapeworms. What's the one after that?
Will you crease yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, will you crease yourself? And Mr. Halo?
Mr. Halo, and then the Anteater.
The Anteater is really good. Okay. Moon.
You ready?
I'm ready. Gonna get a cramp here.
A banger of a song. Kept me with Tron. Now with added context. Hashtag you are the villain. Giant massive steak. Studs, thank you very much. Joy-Con-a-thon 2020. The Coward's Path. Perfect Immortal Machines. And The Anteater.
Joy-Con-a-thon 2020. What was the one right after that?
The Coward's Path.
That's a good one, too. Almost just swore.
Dude, I've almost swore like 4 times in the sentence alone.
All right. Adding them all up, I have Smoochy Smoochy. It's so fun to be the thing. We should be getting our tapeworms. Will you crease yourself? Mr. Halo, the Anteater, Giant Mass of Steak, Joy-Con-a-thon 2020, and The Coward's Path. It has been a while since we've had like 13 really good ones.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I really like Now with Added Context.
Yeah, that one's good too. I'll add that one.
But The Coward's Path is...
I'll put a check next to that. I like Mr. Halo and the Anteater. My new band name.
I like Mr. Halo, the Anteater, and Coward's Path is pretty funny.
Those are the 3 I have check marks next to. I really like We Should Be Getting Our Tapeworms. I feel like it's a touch too long.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't pick that. But yeah, I really like that one too.
For me, it's Coward's Path or Mr. Halo, and I lean towards The Coward's Path. You said it so, like, flippantly.
That's The Coward's Path. All right, I'll circle it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even that. You said it then with passion. When you said it originally, it's like, yeah, that's just The Coward's Path. Like, they weren't even worth your time.
Like, it's an understand.
Anything else.
Like, it's just already globally understood that, come on, Iron Man. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm ready to go when you guys are. Hearing the wheels turning.
Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think I have something.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 666 for July 27th, 2020, The Coward's Path.
Save scum for life.
Backstabbing is now included.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for yet another episode. We're like rounding. By the way, my kid has started throwing the horns because of the second Trolls movie, by the way.
Yeah.
She throws them up and says, "Rock Trolls."
I think we've watched that thing like 5 times now.
We've watched it
last
a lot.
week. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Better sequel than Frozen 2.
Well, that's pretty easy. Yeah.
It goes
Hot
in
takes.
waves. Yeah.
Hot takes. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching us live or watching the archives. See you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
And we can stop recording.